Hedges come in many shapes and sizes, but if you decide on a formal look and feel, then knowing how to keep these box shapes is a must. Guys, when it comes to hedges, a lot can go wrong, and you know this because you've got them at home. You've got hedges that are naked at the bottom that are meant to be keeping the neighbors out, you know, because that's the main reason why we have a hedge. We have it for privacy, we have it to define areas within our garden, much like this little guy is with me. So how do we get it right? It's all in the pruning, guys. It is all in the pruning, especially in those initial stages when you've just planted them. And how do you get it right? It's all in how often we clip it, how often we manicure it to ensure that it stays looking great. And this is often when the laziness of gardening sometimes kicks in, because we let it grow, we let it become unruly, and all of a sudden one Saturday morning, bang, I've got an appointment with the hedge, and that's when it all goes south, because you literally come in and attack it. You prune away too much. The secret with hedges is not pruning every 2 weeks. It's probably pruning every second month. In summer, you might want to do that slightly more often. And the next thing that goes wrong, besides frequency, is getting it level. Now, we can try as much as we want, but when you are crouched over with a piece of machinery that you are so excited about using, and you just start chopping and chopping and chopping, that's when you lose your levels. And that is very difficult to fix, to remedy, because you've cut it all off. So stick with me, follow these steps, and you'll make sure that your hedge remains the constant height that it should without steps. So first of all, I've put in a dowel. I'm going to repeat the same process on the other side so that we can get our height. All right, let's go. Right, that guy's in. So we've got one dowel on that side, one on this side, and then what we need is a bit of twine. Tie it up here, and obviously then take it to the other side, tie it up, and this is where we're going to get our levels. And guys, you might think this is a bit of an overkill, but trust me, you will thank me when you do it this way. Rightio, that's in place. Then we're going to put this little guy in. Now, you're probably going to think this complete overkill, but stick with me. I've told you before, and it'll be okay. This is a little spirit level. It is fantastic because it's meant for building, but for gardening, it's equally as good. And you just attach this little guy. Look at that. I can already see that I need to just go up slightly over there because my little bubble is not quite in the middle. All right, folks, so I'm using a battery-operated hedge trimmer. Complete bliss. Why? Because there are no cords that I could possibly cut, and I know you've done it at home. I know you've cut the extension cord, because I have. So it makes life just so much simpler, less to worry about, and less that you've got to manage whilst you're still trying to keep your levels right. Nice and simple, guys. Hedge trimmers are meant for that, hedge trimming. They're not meant for anything else. And that's important. Use the right tool for the right job to get the right results. If you have the time to trim with a pair of long blade secateurs, then be my guest. For me, it's all about efficiency and precision. There are such fantastic hedge trimmers on the market today that are lightweight and battery operated. Their high cutting performance are ideal for trimming bushes and hedges around the home. Ha! Look at that, precision performance. And that is why we use this, because I know that it's infinitely level. It's perfect. I've got no gouges. I haven't trimmed off large amounts because it's very important, as I said, not to take off too much. When you take off too much, you're exposing parts of the plant that have never had sun before. And in fact, that's when it burns. It's sunburn, literally. And you find that if you're really not going to be doing regular maintenance, where you go in and then do a big hack, and it really is quite unsightly. All right, folks, so we've put a dowel in one end to the other end. and we put it about halfway on the edge. Now guys, this is so important because by nature, when we are using our trimmer and we're going in a downward motion, which is generally the way that you're going to be cutting downwards and then you pull it back up, instinctively, human nature makes us go in. All right, so we actually cut inward, and that's where it all goes pear. Why? Because you've got the top of your hedge, which is wider. You've got the bottom where you're actually going in at an angle, and what you're doing then is this prevents light from getting in underneath here. And that is when you end up with a hedge where when you don't have light, you obviously can't get leaf growth. When you don't have leaf growth, that's when, you see the neighbors. Okay, so the biggest mistake is at this point. Very, very important. In fact, the best way to cut your hedge is to do it at a slightly outward angle. So instead of that, you see there, we want it to be slightly wider at the base and narrower at the top. A double-sided cutter blade means you can cut your trimming time in half, and it allows for you to cut both vertically and horizontally.